to the Arlington Catholic Herald podcast. We've got stories you won't find anywhere else. Today we welcome Immaculée Ilibagiza, an author, speaker, and survivor of the 1994 Rwandan genocide. She was the keynote speaker at the Arlington Diocesan Women's Conference in 2017 and returns to Northern Virginia this weekend to lead a retreat at St. Leo the Great Church in Fairfax. Immaculée, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much for having me.
For those who aren't familiar with your story, could you briefly explain what happened?
Again, I really thank you for having me. So what happened was, in 1994, a genocide started in Rwanda. In Rwanda, we had two tribes, in the Tutsi and the Hutu, and the tribe that was on power, I wouldn't even say the whole tribe, the politicians were on power, decided to kill one tribe, like what happened to Jews, really. And I remember I was in college. I had my family. I had my mom and dad and my two brothers. It started when I was home for Easter holiday. And one morning, my brother came to my room and told me that the president of the country died. So everybody knew something was just like boiling up in the country. They talked about it. One day we are going to kill those people in that tribe. But then we take it like a jokes or maybe just crazy people who are angry for no reason. And they will say on radio, like, for 2 years, if we kill them, we'll kill even the babies. People will be shocked, like, what? What are you talking about? What is crazy about with that radio? So we really kind of knew, but we didn't know, can this be in reality? Can this be happen really? When my brother told me, I went outside and met my parents, who, were all in the courtyard listening to radio. And we find out they just closed the borders of the country, shut down every activity in the country. The only thing being done was killing people of my tribe, Tutsi tribe, from the moment the president died. So it was organized very well. 2 days later, we were still sitting outside, turmoil in the country. No one can go outside. My father asked me to go to the neighbor who was from the Hutu tribe, and he was a good man. And really, not everyone was bad. It was completely political, but many people follow bad politicians. I went to the neighbor, and when I was leaving my father gave me a rosary. I'm Catholic, and I grew up Catholic. Mm-hmm. It was like the last gift my father gave me. And I can almost feel like he was telling me, I will never see you again, and I will not be here anymore to give you what you need. But whatever you need, you know what to do. You go and pick up this rosary. So I took the rosary. I went to the neighbor where he asked me to go. The neighbor put me to sit in the bathroom, his bathroom, just to say, let's be safe, let's see what happens. I spent in that bathroom 3 by 4 feet with other 7 women, 3 months. We came out 3 months later. What I thought was going to be a day, maybe hours, or maybe 3 days. We came out 3 months later in July. And when I came out, everyone in my family had been killed. Everyone who was I left behind, except one brother who was outside of the country. Wow. And during that time, I completely transformed through the rosary my father have given me, and the Bible, the man who hid me, who was a pastor, gave me. It was terrible, but also I learned a lot, and that's what I share in the public, not to tell people, look how bad it was. Mm-hmm. I will try to tell people, look at the hand of God, who never leaves you, even in a worse situation.
Well, I'm sure it can't be easy to share, so I really appreciate you sharing that with us. And I understand you just returned from Rwanda. Could you tell us what the situation is like now and what it's like to be back after everything you went through?
The genocide, again, was terrible, as I was saying, but it taught me a lot. And one of the things it taught me is the importance of love. So even if I don't have much family in Rwanda, I go back, especially for the charity work I'm doing, helping to build schools and repair churches and send kids to school, really, who are poor, help poor families. So I was there for a month, and I loved it very much. Rwanda is now a peaceful country. The bad guys who killed, they run away from the country. The government that was killing left the country also. So we have a new government of people who are refugees, who have been fighting for years, begging them to be just, not to offend people or not to hurt people. So there's peace in the country. The two tribes, respect each other. I mean, people are still hurt individually, but at the level of the country, they teach people to try to forgive and talk and communicate, dialogue, speak about what happened, but also let go the anger. But I give credit to God above all.
Well, we're recording this after a weekend of horrible violence in the United States, mass shootings in Texas, Ohio, Chicago. What do you think we can learn from your story and from the genocide in Rwanda?
Everybody can learn something. One of the things I thought about when I was writing, I really thought about the leaders of countries, the leaders, the politicians, the people in position of leadership anywhere, just to kind of let them know this is what we go through when we don't protect people, when you don't exercise your power to protect people. When I wrote my first book, Let's Tell, I made President Bush, who was the president that time, and I will never forget. He told me, I read your book, and your book have helped me to know what to do in Sudan, in Darfur, where was a genocide that time. So, and I was just like, oh my God, I'm so glad I wrote. That's exactly one of the things I wanted to accomplish. Just like as a human being going through pain because of your bad decision, because you didn't think about me and you thought just about your politics and how to protect it as anybody. So when you think about human beings as a person in leadership before other things, you can save so much and you protect nothing if you don't first protect people. That was one. Another big thing I wanted to speak through my story, and I continue to speak, is to tell the victims. Because when you are a victim, you hurt. When you are the one who have lost somebody, even when the country it looks like it's healing, but you hurt. One of the things can happen that you remain with anger. Then you are destroyed with your own anger. So I share my story of walking through my anger, letting go the anger that could have destroyed me, even worse than what happened. How can you see things as they are, but how can you not let the anger eat you up? And then you die, you kind of hurt yourself. You remain in prison of the hatred. So I speak about forgiveness. Where to run to? When I came outside of the genocide, my home had been destroyed. I had zero money. Our clothes have been destroyed and burned. Our pictures, everything. You have to start repairing from the emotions, and then you also have the physical that is done and gone. So with all that, I really found a loving God who was so present in every situation. And that's what I'm telling people who are suffering, those who are victims, those who are going to survive the impossible now. So, what happened, what they witnessed, how it affected their family. Please turn towards the inside and repair from there, the emotions, spiritually, and hold on to God. You have maybe nothing left. Maybe you don't know how to have that person who was taking care of you and is not there anymore. Turn to God. Try to understand spiritually. And if somebody is sick and physically seek for help, God uses doctors. God uses therapists. But remain close to God, whatever you might be going through. And then if anyone can hear us, who maybe is preparing to do something bad, but please listen. Nobody wins in time of trouble. When you hurt other people, nobody wins. It might be maybe, I don't even know if there's any satisfaction of a second or a moment, but the consequences. To this day, I speak in Rwanda to prisoners. I speak to people who have killed. One man, I asked him, what happened to you? You are a good person. How can you hurt somebody, know that they're going to suffer and they are losing their life? The man told me, he said, I miss people I killed. I didn't even know they were dying for good. I thought it was like a madness that it would just be everything would come back like a year later. I didn't think it was forever. So there is such evil that is hurting the world, and you can't fight evil with evil. You have to fight with love. It is love that goes wrong, and we need to love our family, and we need to teach our children to love. And whoever we are in charge of, influence people to love, to protect one another. So I hope and pray that my message reaches every heart and everyone can really get something out of it.
Well, it's a really powerful message. Could you give us a look ahead at the retreat you're going to lead in Fairfax?
In a retreat, I share about my struggle, my anger, my story, how I came to be angry, but also how I worked through it to let go the anger, which in the end, I completely was free from that. Another thing, I speak about the pain of losing, my pathway to grief, the lessons I learned, the lessons of love that we violate so much in the world. It is really all that we have, the most powerful weapon to protect us is love. And I speak about real life, how I prayed, how I spoke to God, the things that were confusing about me, about God. How can you be here and yet you are loving God and you're watching this? And then I can feel like God is saying, I gave you free will, and you use it in this bad way. But I promise my help for those in trouble. So don't give up on me. Keep praying. And I really saw miracles. I saw miracles. I remember one of the things was here. People came to search for us, and I remember begging God, if you exist, if you are here, don't let the killers find us just today. And I know everybody in the end will die, and I know there is heaven, and heaven is better than where we live here on earth. But just from my heart, as you said in the Bible, ask, it shall be given. Knock, the door will be open. I'm knocking, and I'm asking you, please don't let them find us today. It was a 4-bedroom house. 300-400 people were searching the house. In my human capacity to think, there was no way they will not find us, because they're inside. It's not like they're thinking about it. And I remember after I asked God, don't let them open this door, just so that I know for sure at least there is my God who can hear us, who said everything in the Bible as true. I remember after that I fainted, until 5 hours later, the man who was hiding us, he came and told us that they searched everywhere, in the ceiling of the house, under the beds. They even opened suitcases to see if there were no babies hiding. That's how thorough they were searching, on the top of the house, in the ceiling with flashlights. And he said at last they came right to the door of the bathroom, the last place they were going to search. And before the man pulled the door, he told the man who was hiding us, you know what, we trust you. You are a good man. You can't hide these bad people. And he turned around and left. So I saw so many miracles from God. And I felt like my communication with him was constant. And I can almost feel exactly what he was asking of me too. Mm-hmm. Remain with me. Make sure your heart is clean. Don't hate. And if you feel hate and anger, ask me to change you instead of festering and enjoying in my anger. Like if you want my protection, you do your part. Remain in love, in kindness. And I saw the hand of God everywhere. As long as I do truth, I do what is loving, what is kind, God is with me. And that is, everybody can have that. Nobody is saying that he will love me more. God cares for those who love him, those who want to do things right. And he will come to help us. And sometimes people think like, oh, what about those who died? Like they didn't pray? No, they did pray. And you know what? Everybody has their way to communicate with God. You don't know what they had in mind. One of the things that amazes me, my brother left me a letter in my book, and I put it in my book. He wrote it the day before they killed him. And in the letter he said, if I die, do not worry, I will go to heaven. I'm prepared for that.
Wow.
I never once was okay to die. Why was he okay? I don't know. Maybe God put it on his heart. So I feel like sometimes people think like, oh, if I live, then I was more fortunate, and maybe God heard me better. Not really. I feel like, again, heaven is much better than where we are now. But if you desire so much to live, keep knocking the door. And if God wishes, yeah, maybe he will put it on your heart that it's okay to go. And with the same my brother went through. So I don't think like, oh, look at me, I prayed better. I just feel like maybe God knew they were much better and I still have work to do. And I mean it with all my heart. But I'm so glad, not that I live, I'm so glad I came to see that God is real. And there is heaven after this. And I know what I know. And he needs us so much to remind the people, don't be distressed, don't worry, don't lose heart, Don't be troubled. I'm here with you. Just do your part. And when the time comes, you can pass on in peace, even if you are dying. One of the things, again, the killers of my brother still tell me today. They told me when they were killing him, he will look at them in the face and say, I know where I'm going, but what about you? I'm like, my brother, who was scared to die? He's the one who had the courage to look at people and tell them I know where I'm going in front of his death. So, like, the strength people can have is really between them and God. The most important thing is, how are we living today? Are we encouraging other people to do good, to be good, and ourselves, of course? We all work as a mother, as a father, as a wife, as a husband, as a writer, are we doing good? Are we directing our energy to build or to destroy? And that, again, I hope that throughout my retreat, I spend more time, a day and a half, really one evening and one morning until 1, until 2, because people used to tell me which I still do, I speak for 1 hour like a keynote speech, and people would tell me, like, that's it, we can't have you to ask you questions. So I'm like, let me think about a trick. Maybe something I can stay longer so we can have more sessions. And then people can ask their questions too and share with me. But especially I can speak about more things, the love of God, the love of the Mother of God, So I very much look forward to this.
Well, I can't wait to attend. If people want to register, how do they do that?
So you can register to my website, Immaculée.com. IMMACULEE.com. And then you can go to retreats, and then you will see them listed.
Well, thanks for joining us, Immaculée.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
Before we sign off, here's a sneak peek of our print edition coming out August 8th. Whether you're a local or a visitor to the nation's capital, you'll want to check out the article on religious sites in Washington, D.C. It has everything you need to spend a day exploring the city. There's also a great feature about Our Lady of Silence and updates about our local seminarians. Ask your parish how to get a copy, or just give us a call at 703-841-2590, or email circulation@catholicherald.com and we'll get your subscription started today. Thanks to Elizabeth Elliott for producing this episode. Thanks for listening.